Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, great Biafrans and lovers of freedom. This is Radio Biafra House Service coming to you via the auspices of Radio Biafra London. My name remains Mazi Chika from Olo province of Biafra land. Without taking much time, I will hand over the platform to the head of the Directorate of States of the Indigenous People of Biafra, Mazi Chika Edoziem. Mazi, please, the platform is yours. Take over, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Mazi Jonathan. Good evening from me from here. I hope you're hearing me, right?
The whole world is hearing you crystal clear.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and good night to you, great and wonderful people of Biafra. My name is Mazi Chika Edoziem. I come from Ihe Oma. Ihe Oma is in all the province of Biafra land. And by the grace and mercy of Chukwokika Biama, I serve the indigenous people of Biafra in the Directorate of State as the head of Directorate. I bring you tonight, the 3rd of May 2020, greetings from the Supreme Leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. I wish to let all of IPOB family members worldwide to know that as always, we are in the thoughts and prayers of our leader, despite and irrespective of the condition he has found himself in. His thoughts and prayers are with us, that we may remain as devoted and as committed as we are supposed to be, while concentrating on the work before us. We also must not fail. We must have him in our own thoughts and our own prayers on a daily basis, so that every plan and machinations of the enemy will not have power over him. Great Biafrans, this month of May is a very crucial month for IPOB worldwide family. And we must brace up for the battle ahead of us. There shall be neither from us, there shall be neither retreat nor surrender in our quest for freedom. Biafra is the only agenda that this very great movement, IPOB, that Oduduwa has put in place and that he is leading and commanded. The restoration of Biafra is our only objective. It is our only agenda, and it is the only destination that we are heading to. A free, independent, and sovereign Biafran nation. Biafrans, the least every true and genuine IPOB family member could do at this very moment that we have found ourselves in is to follow the path already established and mapped out by our leader, Nnamdi Kanu. That is the least we can do, because we cannot say, nobody can say, if you are truly a Biafran, if you are truly part of this noble family, if you are truly an IPOB hardcore, you cannot say that you have not imbibed the knowledge and wisdom that Oduduwa Mazi Kanu, during his daily broadcasts or weekly broadcasts, has imparted upon all of us individually and collectively. Therefore, having that in mind, the least that is expected of us is to remain very committed to that part that he already established and mapped out for us to work upon. The essential requirements to work this part that our leader has already ordained for us. Being focused, dedicated, devoted, committed, and of course without any form of distraction whatsoever. That essential requirement for us to be able to, remain on that path that he has, set up for us or set up for us. The requirements for each and every one of us to be dedicated to this very noble cause, to be committed to it, are that we must be absolutely disciplined in carrying out our duties in accordance with our guiding fundamental principles. Discipline is key in our ability and our willingness to carry out our functions in accordance with our guiding fundamental principles and policy. Whether you are a principal servant or a family member, the requirement of discipline goes pari passu or hand in hand with our being unqualified loyal, our being unequivocally loyal, our being totally loyal to the leader of this great movement and to the structure he put in place. I am not going to be tired of harping on the need of loyalty, because a movement such as ours, a movement that has one single objective, which we know will not be to some extent to advantage of certain people or certain parts of the contraction called the zoo. Our being very disciplined will make it impossible for us to allow a weak angle from which they can come in and try to destabilize or derail our march to freedom as a free people. May 18th, 2022 is the court date for our case in Abuja High Court. Our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, will be appearing in court, and we must, as we are accustomed to doing, we must solidarize with him both physically and spiritually. We must do all that is within our power to ensure that those around us understand, and those far away from us also understand that we are total in sync with our leader and totally supportive of the difficulties he is passing through on our behalf at this very moment. We shall embark on that date, as we have always done, on protests in the diaspora. Please, this is also important. We must not be tired of organizing protests in the diaspora. This at least is at least one thing we can do without being concerned of any crazy security operatives being trigger happy or things like that. So those of us in diaspora, the least we can be doing until our leader is released to us is that we must keep that that flag flying. We must keep in the conscience and before all humanity that a prisoner of conscience in the person of Nnamdi Kanu is being tortured in every manner one can think about it by the Nigerian Gestapo secret police. We shall therefore, like I said, embark on diaspora worldwide rallies. In the diaspora, we should embark on worldwide rallies, and we must continue our unceasing supplication to Chukwu Abiyama to take absolute control on that very date, 18th of May 2022. We must show presence at the Abuja High Court. And like we did wonderfully at the last court hearing, we have exhibited the kind of discipline we exhibit in Abuja, the seat of evil of the zoo, is something very, very noble to those people, because they have been expecting that they will, in a way or somehow, try to provoke us and then, create a situation for them to commit their atrocities on our people. But our people, I must commend all of you that have been to this very moment, that has been present during these court cases and court hearings. You have been doing very well, and do not relent. Until our leader is released, we must be in that court and show that what he is going through is for the benefit of the whole of Biafran nation and Biafran people. Therefore, those going to Abuja, and why in Abuja, you must be very, very at alert, and of course, again, be very security conscious of your environment. You must look out for one another. And in Biafra land, we shall lock down the length and breadth of Biafra land with a total sit-at-home. We must lock down Biafra land from the riverine to the hinterland. We Biafrans, we must lock down Biafra land, and this must be loud and clear, expressing our disgust and, of course, our solidarity with our leader Nnamdi Kanu on the 18th of May 2022, and of course, subsequently, I believe there is going to be 2 court sittings or 2 court hearings on that this very same month, 26, if I get it clear, or 22. But we start with 18 first, and as we go forward, what we have to know is that every day that our leader remains in the custody of the enemy and will come to court, that day is a day of solidarity with him, whether in Biafra land or in the diaspora. And the form of solidarity we must take has been expressly made clear here. For those of us in Biafra land, it's going to be a civil disobedience kind of protest where we will lock down Biafra land and sit in our homes. And while we sit in our homes, we continue to pray. We continue to ask the spirits that guide our land to take charge and take control. May 30th, because I said that the month of May, this month of May is a crucial one for us, and we must pay attention. For all that we may sacrifice, we are sacrificing for the betterment and for the well-being of the future of our children and our children's children. Therefore, the little inconvenience that we may have during this very, very important struggle in our life, we must count them as nothing to compare to the benefits that will be accruing to us as a free people in a free, independent, and sovereign nation called Biafra. May 30th is the Biafran Heroes and Heroines Remembrance Day. Again, this is our usual act, if I'll put it that way. This is what we usually do. It has become a ritual for us that every 30th of May, Biafrans all over the world must remember those who died for this very cause that we are pursuing. And in doing this, what we will do is that Biafra land will be on a total lockdown on the 30th of May 2022. This total lockdown is in recognition of their sacrifice, of the sacrifices of our heroes and heroines. Many of them, our brothers, our sisters, our uncles, our parents and grandparents, and cousins and aunts, whatever, each family in Biafra land had lost at the minimum 1 or 2 members of our family during the genocide of 1967 to 1970. That they were able to stand their ground is the reason why we are, many of us, in fact, is the reason why the indigenous people of Biafra have not been wiped out to this very day. Therefore, the least we can do as well is to ensure that we recognize their sacrifices and appreciate the supreme price that they pay on our behalf. The IPOB family in the diaspora will observe this day in a town hall format with lectures and or symposia, which must of course be preceded by the usual prayers in honor and in remembrance of our heroes and heroines. Great Biafrans, the intel at our disposal is that the governor of Ebonyi State, David Umahi, he has concluded arrangements to invite the man in Aso Rock to Ebonyi State, to Biafra land. And let me state here very, very clearly let me make this very, 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 very clear to David Umahi. The president, the person parading himself as Buhari, this man is not welcome in Biafra land. It does not matter what your agendas may be. It doesn't make any difference. The point is that the president of the Zoological Republic of Nigeria, Jubilee Buhari, or whatever his name may be, is not welcome in our land. While our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, is being starved and tortured by the same zoo president Gestapo police called the notorious DSS. You are not welcome in our land. And we will show you that you are not welcome in our land. David Umahi and the politicians, if you people will take your hand to get the wood infested, the ant-infested wood in your own bedroom, and lizard will come visiting when that is the case. Buhari is not welcome, whatever his name may be, or whatever the person is that is pretending to Buhari. You're not welcome in your land. Why? You have our leader, the leader of more than 75 million Biafrans. You have him incarcerated, you have him being tortured, and you want to come to our land to do what? To mock us. We must remember that this security agency, or whatever called the DSS, they have become worse than its predecessor, the former Nigerian security organization, the NSO. Very, 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 very notorious for acts of human rights abuse and violation. These infamous security organization or outfit, which incidentally, as we all are aware, was also an instrument of oppression used by the then person that was real General Muhammad Buhari in power. Yes, of course, he did not set up the NSO, but when he came in, he found it very, very, handy, and he began to use them to hunt politicians from the south. We know his records. We know his records. For example, take our elder, the late Ekweme, for example, a vice president, right? Who is not on whose table the box does not stop. It stops on the president's table. And who was the president then? Shagari. And what happened? Buhari, like he is, like he was then, and like they are doing now, Marabo kind of thing. Very, very tribalistic individual then, and as always. He sent Shagari to what? To a house arrest, and took his deputy, who is not the power, who is not the president, and put him in cricket. That is Buhari, the then General Buhari for you. And the same agenda is what these people are now using, this infamous DSS to continue to hunt and hound politicians that do not agree with them. And of course, those who have different views as they may have. We understand that Dave Umahi is inviting Buhari on May the 5th and the 6th to Ebonyi State. I think if it has not already been done, we will be posting the venues where this man supposedly will be going to do what? I don't know what actually they want. It's only in the zoo that when you are employed to do a job for the people, and when you have done maybe 0.5% of one single job, you will call a party and make it a big thing that the president must come and do what and commission such project. It is only in the zoo that such things happen. But nevertheless, we are aware that 5th and 6th of May has been penciled down for the coming of this man in Biafra land. If David Umahi likes, if he likes, he can keep the impostor and pretender for 1 week in Ebonyi State, and we shall lock down Biafra land for the same number of days. As long as this man is in our land, there shall be total lockdown in Biafra land. To drive home our message that the zoo cannot illegally detain the leader of the Biafran people in their dungeon and then hope to be given a red carpet welcome by Biafrans whose own leader, this man parading himself as Buhari, is starving daily and torturing physically and mentally. We will not welcome any Nigerian zoo president in our land, and we will show physically and very actively our displeasure on any day that this man called David Umahi will pencil down as a day that we give them our treatment. We know what to do, and of course we will carry it out to the letter. Great Biafrans, Obibo 2020 is an unforgettable year in the minds of Biafrans worldwide. When we remember Obibo, water run away my eyes. This is some of the songs that we used to sing when we, do our student union struggle back then during the time of our studies. When we remember the atrocities that was committed by Wike in Obibo, water run away our eyes and run down my eyes. When I remember that Wike subjected our women, the pride of Biafra, they are our women. He subjected them to be, oh my goodness, I don't know the proper word to use, but all of us understand that a woman has needs, and these needs are needs that pertain to cleanliness. This man called Wike left our women for months, or for weeks, or even months, to be with one cloth, one underwear, no water, nothing, no food. He humiliated us to the extent that even those who were our enemies were wondering what is going on. That was Obibo 2020 for us. It is an event and a year that will never be forgotten. It is the year that Nyesom Wike used the Nigerian army and police to destroy the lives and properties of Biafrans living in Obibo. It is the year that Wike initiated a wholesale massacre and kidnap of our people in Obibo. And send them to their early graves in the northern part of the zone. While this atrocity was ongoing, while this injustice was ongoing, while our people were suffering in Obibo, those that like to be addressed as our elders of the land, they became blind, deaf and dumb at the same time. These elders, so-called, they did not see the daily spilling of the blood of their children on the streets of Obibo. These elders, they did not hear the wailing and cries of their children undergoing physical and psychological torture at the hands of the Nigerian Fulanized security apparatus. And these elders, they refused to raise their voice against the killings and wholesale evacuation of their children to death camps in northern Nigeria at the behest, at the instigation of Governor of River State called Nyesom Wike. Our elders, they saw nothing, they had nothing, and they could not speak. Now, after all this has, has passed, but not forgotten, not forgiven, to add salt to our injury, to add salt to the injury of Biafrans through the mourning that we have still not been able to come over, of our youths being massacred on the streets of Obibo. Igwe Achebe, the Igwe of Onitsha. In fact, he urinated on the spilled blood of these brave Obibo Biafrans by inviting Wike to the heartland of Biafra to come and mock those he murdered. Igwe Achebe, we did not hear you speak when your children were being killed, they were being massacred. Even some of them went to Wike in Iguacha to see if, like, they are hungry, always hungry, looking for where they can get crumbs. They went there and they were singing Wike Kaibesu. These are your elders. And when we are angry with them, they say that we are intransigent. When we do not want to even listen, hear anything from them, they say that we are stubborn. But what have you? Onobundi, you are the people, like when they say, in our language, they say that elder does not stay in the house and a tethered goat will give birth. A goat will give birth while tethered. On the road, tethered on the road. These are the elders that you have. And we wonder sometimes truly if there is still any true and honest elder in Biafra land. Igwe Achebe invited Wike to come and do what? And to mock the blood that he spilled, to mock those that he murdered. This is unacceptable to us, and the IPOB leadership is hereby suspending all contact with the Igwe Achebe-led Council of Traditional Rulers, Bishops, and Archbishops of Southeast. Forthwith, we are cancelling and suspending further communication with this council. Because if your leader, who is Igwe Achebe, is inviting a murderer of his children with a red carpet, I don't see any reason why we will even have any. I don't see any point of any meeting point between the IPOB and this very, very council. Some of these so-called elders are so morally bankrupt that one begins to wonder, yes, and like I said before, if there are still real elders left in our land. In spite of the horrendous atrocities committed by Nyesom Wike in Obi against Biafrans, against Biafrans of Igbo extraction, against your children, Igwe Achebe, and other elders, you, the Igbo of Onitsha, still rolled out the red carpet for this mass murderer. IPOB will not forget, and IPOB will not forgive. There has been some very, it's as if, these people think that IPOB is now very much occupied with other issues, and they are no longer going to pay attention to the criminals parading themselves as cultists in Biafra land. Let me state clearly here that Biafra land is a cultism-free land. A cultism-free land, and we will ensure that it remains so. Those of you hearing me tonight, those of you doing hard men, you're hard man, you think nobody to hear them. You are doing hard man in our town, in our villages, and our cities, committing all sorts of crimes and extortion against Biafrans in the name of cultism. Today is the 3rd, Tuesday the 3rd of May 2022. And from tonight, you have 14 days to turn a new leaf and be useful to yourself, your immediate family, and of course to our society in general. Those who have been compelled to belong to this very plight, a very terrible blight on our values. If you were forced to belong to this, or that you entered consciously and willingly and deliberately, you have 14 days from tonight to renounce cultism. You have 14 days tonight to turn a new leaf and be useful to yourself and to your family. Parents and guardians, brothers and sisters and friends of these people that call themselves called hard men should do well to advise them to either find a new location outside of Biafra land to carry on with their activities of cultism, or denounce cultism in its entirety. IPOB will not, I repeat, IPOB will not allow Biafra land to become favelas and hotbeds for gangs as you have in South America. Not happen. And tonight we begin the countdown. You have the choice. The options are open for you. Choose one of them. If you want to leave, you renounce cultism and turn a new leaf. Otherwise, you will be responsible for what happens to you. And nobody should be blamed for what will befall you. Because, like they say, well, I'll leave it for now. I said you have 14 days to turn a new leaf and become useful to yourself. After these 14 days, whoever in the name of cultism remained obstinate and have not renounced cultism, they and their sponsors should be ready to dance to the tune of music that will emanate from IPOB. There is a need for me to speak very briefly on IPOB USA family. And that briefly is that our people in the USA must understand one thing. Presently, we have IPOB, well, let me put it this way. IPOB USA is structured into 4 regions, and each region has a regional representative. If the 4 regions are occupied by principal servant, these 4 people will and remain, if are not that way, they are the highest IPOB representative in USA. While we do not have a national coordinator, and we do not at the moment have a North American continental rep. These 4 individuals, they become automatically the highest ranking officers in USA, and they are the leaders, the leadership of IPOB USA. Anyone therefore who is calling a leadership meeting outside of these 4 regional coordinators, we have the Pacific region, we have the Eastern region, we have the Coastal region, and we have the Mountain region, I believe. These 4 regions. Apart from the 4 representatives or 4 regional representatives, there is no one that has the power, the authority to convene a USA general meeting of IPOB family members, if not these 4 individuals, or at least the 3 of them, when if it is only 3, if the 4 regions do not have representatives, as the case may be. But they are the only authority that has the mandate to organize and call for a general meeting of IPOB family members. I am saying this so that people will not say that they did not know. I said this to the meeting I had with them last week, and I am happy that it sunk in. Now I'm making it also, I am doubling on that. I am making it more public for others who did not attend that meeting to be aware. If you are going to a meeting called by anybody, it does not matter. Especially those they call those who have left the assignment that they were given, the liaison group, calling a general meeting of IPOB leadership. If you go to those meetings, then we will count you as being part of those who are trying to weaken the structure of this movement, as the zoo themselves are trying to weaken the structure of this movement. And we will not allow that to happen. We will not tolerate that to happen. And to be forewarned is to be forearmed. I believe those who have heard me tonight, they will take the proper correction and do things accordingly. There is also a very disturbing news that I didn't want to even, I never hoped that we would talk about this, but let me say it tonight. Yes, we have bound Fulani cow consumption in our land and cow sales in our land. Yes, we have banned it for very, very cogent reasons, very, very good reasons. We have it is verboten. It is banned. It is banned. No, we don't need it. This is not an avenue for people to begin to do what? To profiteer, to take advantage, undue advantage of our people, and begin to sell the native cows at a price that does not make sense. I want to tell you tonight, and everybody who's listening, please pay attention and tell those who have, those who have made it their duty to go into this animal husbandry and then rear our native cows. Please, you are not doing this in order to put extra burden, extra want on our people. That's not the reason. The reason is that we will because our Efibo is in our land. You did not import it from anywhere, and whatever they eat there is there in our land. And they had their prices prior to April of this year. They have their usual prices. Yes, I know it's the best cow meat that you can get, but we must ensure that unnecessary price increase of these cows do not take place in Biafra land. We will prefer to allow the forces of demand and supply to take its course. Yes, we will be grateful. We will be very happy to allow that to happen. And we know that yes, when there is shortage of production, then prices may go high. Yes, we know all this, but from the prices we are hearing, it cannot be that people will be so unconscionable to try and sell Efibo at prices that are very, very exorbitant. Let me tell you what is going to happen. Don't say I did not warn you. If we get information that somebody is selling Efibo at a price that does not make sense, we shall visit you honestly, we shall pay you a visit. And I don't think you will like that visit. So please, it is all of us are suffering. All of us are making these sacrifices. There is no need for profiteering here. There is no need to sell Efibo for $500,000 naira when you know the price is half of that, for example. There's no need for that. So let us be our brother's keeper. I am encouraging again. I appreciate those who have gone into this business. I want to commend them. And I am encouraging many more of my people, our entrepreneurs, to go into this. This is, in fact, there's no investment that you can make in whether it is what do they call it, tech investment or banking or whatever, that you can reap more than what you're going to reap if you truly go into rearing of Biafran cows, Efibo, native cows. Within a space of 6 months, you will have been able to recover, in fact, all that you invested on that very, very project. So therefore, please, there should not be, it is unnecessary to put the prices of Efibo exorbitantly to make it unreachable for our people. Now, IPOB families worldwide are hereby directed to embark on fundraising at the national level. IPOB families worldwide, with the exception of Ground Zero, that is Biafra land, with the exception of Biafra land, IPOB in the diaspora, from Africa to Asia, from Asia to Australia or Oceanic, from Australia to America, North America and South America, and to Europe. Is there any continent that I missed? All of the families that we have in these continents, all the countries where we have presence, you are mandated from tonight to please put the processes of a national fundraising, IPOB national fundraising in place. All national coordinators activate this process, please, immediately for this very assignment. Now, I want everybody to pay attention here. Request. I'm now addressing the national coordinators, those in the diaspora. Request for authorization for the fundraising from the Directorate of State through your continental rep. Request for authorization. Do not hold any fundraising without getting the proper authorization from the Directorate of State. And when you have received the needed permission, please inform the IPOB Head of Finance, Mrs. Nnamdi, about this event, about the event that you're going to hold, because it has to do with money. Inform her, but before the information, before you inform her, you will have been given the permission, so that now you inform her and then bring her your flyer, the flyer for the event. Please as well make sure that you invite the IPOB Finance Head to your IPOB or ESN fundraising event. Authorization from the Directorate is a condition precedent to holding any fundraising in the name of IPOB or ESN. Authorization from the Directorate is a condition precedent before you can hold such fundraising in the name of IPOB. To avoid, of course, we informing Biafrans that your fundraising is not authorized. And Mrs. Bridget Okafor, you must take note. All that you have been doing outside the structure of IPOB, you must cease forthwith. You must cease forthwith from doing that. Don't think that we just kept quiet doesn't mean we don't know what to do. We have given a long rope. There is nobody who speaks for IPOB apart from the leadership. Not our international lawyers or our local lawyers. They have their briefs, and their briefs has to do with what? Legal matters. They concentrate on that, they face that. If we as a family need advice on legal issues, we go to them. But don't come as our lawyer and begin to speak as a leader of IPOB. That will not be tolerated anymore. Those who have done that, you take note, because they say that if it comes to that the king does not behave very well, you can cover yourself and then tell him the truth, the honest truth. I am saying this so that people may not say that IPOB has come again. We have a structure, we have a way we do things, we have procedure, we have processes, and that must be followed. It does not matter who you are. If you're part of this family, you must be under the structure that our leader has put in place. Otherwise, we will give you the treatment of those who are not part of this family. have a few announcements to make. Well, let me say not a few, but just maybe one announcement to make tonight. And before I make that announcement, I want to commend IPOB UK family, because they are gradually but surely returning to its former enviable position amongst IPOB family worldwide. There are very clear signs that the family is on the path of full recovery, and it is our duty to support and encourage them to attain their full potential. All the regional reps in the UK are enjoined and encouraged to continue to work assiduously for the growth of IPOB UK family. To assist you in this regard, the following persons are hereby appointed to these positions of service. Please, you may pardon me, because I am used to calling our men Mazi. You may have titles and all the rest of it. It's not a slight on your title, but I am, I so much love this word Mazi. It means so much, and I like to address people with that. So the first name I have here is Mazi. People also know him as Chief Nice Mokoro. Mazi Nice Mokoro, he has been a coordinator in the UK up to this moment. He has been appointed at this very hour to lead the IPOB UK family as the national coordinator. Mazi also, he is known with the name Dr. Onyeka Ekekwe. Mazi Onyeka Ekekwe is also an IPOB principal servant in the IPOB family in Aberdeen, Scotland. And tonight he has been appointed to deputize Mazi Nice Mokoro as the deputy IPOB UK national coordinator. And we have Mada Chinyere Iruba, also a very hardcore IPOB family member in UK. Mada Chinyere Iruba is appointed IPOB national secretary for the UK family. I am calling all of you, family members in the UK, principal officers from the regional reps down to the unit coordinators, those who have served before and those who have never served before. All of you, if you are a hardcore IPOB family member, if you are loyal and you believe in the structure of our leader, I want to call upon you tonight to give these individuals that have been mentioned tonight the maximum cooperation, the maximum support, and help and work with them to make sure that IPOB UK is back on its feet. It was comatose for a while. Honestly, I have to say this, but for the past weeks or thereabout, the changes, even the last rally that was done in UK was in fact it was like it used to be before, and I think that, of course, there is still much work to be done, but I believe that these individuals that have been given this responsibility now, your loyalty is not to any individual. Your loyalty is to our leader, Mazi Kanu, and your loyalty is to the structure that he has put in place. Therefore, when you do your job, do it truthfully, honestly, and do it in the benefit or for the benefit of Biafrans in the UK specifically, and Biafrans worldwide, Biafran general. We must continue to commit Onyendu with sincerity of heart into the hands of our ancestors. We must continue to, those of us who are very, very, who are firebrand when it comes to seeking the face of heaven, whether in the form of Judeo-Christian believer or the Omena or the Nana people. We must all do what we have to do in order to preserve and protect and commend and commit our leader into the hands of Chukwu Kikabiam, named Chukwu, the creator of heaven and earth, the things seen and that are unseen. He who have brought him out on this very journey. We at all times, each day that he must not forget his promise, and that he must not, forget his servant, the vessel which he has, activated to see to the redemption of his children, the Biafran people. We must continue to keep him in the bosom of Chukwokike, that Chukwokike may grant him victory, grant Onyendu victory against all the machinations of our enemies, both physical and spiritual. That Chukwokike may grant him victory over all our traducers and all workers of evil, and anyone or spirit that is standing in our way to freedom. We must call upon the spirits of our land to go into battle. It's this one. This is not. It's not only we pray. We will ask them to go into battle on our behalf. We will ask the spirits of our heroes and heroines to go into battle on our behalf. And I can assure you that we thank Chukwokike because he has been doing great and marvelous for us, his children. Biafra for us is not just a name. Biafra is not just our identity. Biafra is not just our heritage. Biafra that drives away evil spirit is our religion. And it is only Chukwukabiyama, the creator of heaven and earth. It is only to him that we bow down and worship, because we, as a people, we do not worship man or what man has made. It is he that made all things seen and unseen, Chukwukabiyama, named Chukwu. He is the one that we bow our heads and our feet unto and glorify his name. And we will continue to do that after Biafra is restored unto eternity. Chukwokike, we will watch it. And Chukwokike will bow down before his presence. I want to thank you all for listening tonight. And please, guard your loins, my brothers and my sisters. Guard your loins, my comrades. Guard your loins, my beloved family members of our PUB. It is drawing to a close. Yes, the battle, the destination is getting closer. And that is the time when temptation will come. That is the time when the enemy will want to come and try to distract you. Don't allow yourself to be distracted. Don't allow yourself to be a weak link through which the enemy will come or try to come in order to delay the coming of a sovereign Biafran nation. Therefore, I want to thank all of you for listening tonight, and I want to commend as well each and every one of you into the hand of our merciful Chukwukabiyama, that he may preserve all of you, protect all of you in your going out and your coming in, and provide for you on a K day, on Ori day, on Afro day, and on Ode. To him alone To Chukwu be all honor and praises now and forevermore. Thank you so much. And from me, from here, I want to say good night. Kanu